All right, guys, this is Josh with Conquer All Things. I'm joined with Ryan Abney today.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Welcome.
Thank you.
This is a man behind the scenes who does most of the podcast recording.
Yeah.
But we're in front of the camera today.
Right?
Yeah.
A little different, but I'm used to being in front of it. So
right.
it's like,
there's no
fine.
big deal for you. All right, man. So let's start with, something that, always stands out and impressed me about you is when, most of us working at Crunch together, we watched your journey. We saw you kind of go through a whole transformation, and it was very impressive to watch.
Thank
I think
you.
you earned a ton of respect, just quietly from people. We're like, man, this kid is working. You want to talk about just kind of maybe where you started with that journey, why you wanted to go through it, and where it ended up?
Oh, yeah. It's actually funny because that was, I would say, my second weight loss transformation.
Okay.
So my first weight loss transformation started when I was like, how old was I? It was like freshman year of high school. Okay. So I was like 14.
Got it.
I was already overweight as a kid, so kind of going through that in school and all that fun, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So it started there. That's when I started to get into like martial arts and started doing classes. So once I started doing martial arts classes, I started to wanted to get into like weightlifting, looking at like Bruce Lee, and, like Arnold and all them. So I wanted to start getting in shape. So I had asked my dad to like get some gym equipment. It's funny because they tried to get me to start working out like years ago and give me the gym. I hated it. But years later, I got it on my own. I was like,
I had the same experience with my dad. He bought me a weight set, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? Yeah. And then a couple years later, like, where's my weight set? And he's like, we got rid of it. You didn't even use it. I was like, I want my weight set, bro. I'm ready to go. Like 2 years later.
Right? So like, because they got me like a personal trainer for a couple sessions at a gym. But I was just like, I was a kid too, so I didn't
dude.
But once I got into like high school, that's when I started to like really go into fitness and martial arts. But I focused more on the fitness and weight loss, how that started. So I kind of like had like my own home gym in my basement. That's kind of where everything was going. Everything started, and I enjoyed that spot because it was like my own piece. Yeah. So like it's like a dungeon. Yeah.
So I was gonna say totally.
It was like my training dungeon. So I would train there. I would we build it over time. So I got like little weights like down there, like 20s, 30s, 50s. That was before I like went to like a public gym. I just like training down there by myself. Yeah. I think I started going to the gym at because they had to take me too. So like before I had to just do it myself. Right. So everything was a lot of like trial and error. Yeah. So I didn't really have like too much of a guide when it came to that. Just a lot of Men's Health. Magazines. Yeah. Bodybuilder.com. Just learned everything from there. So that's where like my first weight loss journey started. So I went from 260. I did take some like fat burning pills too to kind of like supplements. It kind of helped me jumpstart it because I lost like 6 pounds, I guess, in the first week or something like that. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. So there's a couple things that tried to get me to lose weight before I actually got serious, and then it took me a couple years to really lose all the weight. That first time, I went from 260 to like 170.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
that's
the first time.
That's crazy.
The first time I have like a lot of photos and videos, just like over years, just with me training. I was just always record just me. Yeah. So it was always fun just to kind of look at it and stuff like that too, just for memories. So I did that, and then of course I started martial arts during that time. I started with like kung fu at the American Martial Arts Institute in Delaware. That's where I'm originally from. Born in Philly, moved to Delaware. So I started going there. I would take their cardio martial arts class too, and then do training afterwards. And then I also still work out at home before
3 days.
Well, to be fair, I'll be honest, the martial arts class wasn't as intense as I would like it to be for that style. Right. Because of the many different levels. So it was like at your own pace. Yeah. It wasn't like the Taekwondo classes I was taking a few months ago and here in Burbank. That's a little bit more intense because there's a lot of kicking, so there's a lot more involved in that. The drills but that was more fun for me personally. But yeah, I would do the combat fitness class, and that would help too. And make sure my diet was good, figuring out like what works for me. I didn't track too. So that was another problem. I didn't know what tracking was at that time.
Right. I think a lot of people did really.
Yeah.
It wasn't as prevalent as now for sure.
So it's like I didn't know how to do all that, and I think that probably would have helped because I would be like, I know I'm eating healthy, but I'm not losing.
Yeah.
So that would always annoy me. So it's like just really figuring that out. But yeah, I did that, and then over the years, life just got crazy for me, just in general, just mentally and all that. And then I kind of just gained the weight back, which is funny because I was like, I never gained the weight back, but I did anyway.
Man, life happens.
So
bro.
I gained it back, then moved out here, and that's when I decided to move out here to pursue like acting and film. Talk about that later because that's a whole nother. We'll talk about that during the purpose. But yeah, that's when I moved out here. I remember telling my friend, my roommate, when I moved out here, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna lose this weight in 6 months, become a Venice, the Venice Beach ambassador."
Yeah. Muscle Beach.
Yeah, Muscle Beach. Go out there, be ambassador, all that, blah blah blah. I was like. He's like, all right, cool. He's still one of my close friends today. Yeah. He's like, okay, at least you're ambitious. Fix that way. Do a live, people. So yeah, then after that I joined Crunch, and then that's when I started to dive back into like really losing the weight because again that's why I was out here for acting and you got to be in shape and stuff like that. And just for me personally, the body dysmorphia. Just
totally. You had done it once before.
Yeah.
That makes it harder.
It does. It makes me even more anxious. You look back, you're like, damn.
Yeah, for sure.
So, doing that and just taking it one day at a time and just getting back into this flow of things. God, I can't talk. Getting back into the flow of things. Trying to figure out how to eat healthy again, learning how to track properly this time. Right, so that did help me that time around too. Yeah. But it still took another couple of years to really get my flow and figure out what to do.
It's a trial and error, man. It's a lot of trial and error in changing your body, like drastically. To make a drastic change, it really takes a lot.
I'm still doing it. Well, as we all,
me
right?
Me too.
So we all have because you have a great metabolism. And I had the opposite.
Muscle on, to save my life. Yeah,
I was like, we need to just exchange blood types.
Let's just switch it.
Just switch it out. I was like, I need your metabolism. You can have mine.
Yeah. So at Crunch, what was the weight loss there? Where'd you start? Where'd you get to?
Where did I start there? I started close to the same weight.
Okay.
So it was like 250.
Okay.
And then I got down to 190, 195.
And you were working at Crunch at the time too, right? Yeah. So that's, I think, why we remember, because I was working at Crunch too at the time. And I would see you working hard. I mean, you were working hard, man. And I like that. Like, that's why we became friends. Because I respect people like that instantly. Because I'm always just watching people do things. Like, it fascinates me to see hard work. I just love it. Yeah. And I just remember you just being drenched, man. Like, soaking wet after workouts. Like, what did you just do, bro?
Man.
And it was consistent, too, because I'm consistent. I have that routine and habit. So I'm there every day, same time. You were there every day, same time. So we just kept seeing each other every day, same time.
Yeah, right.
And I was just very impressed by that consistency and that work ethic, perseverance, and it was cool to see, because again, like, you weren't a trainer, you didn't have to do that. No. But because you worked there and you were friends with all the trainers, we're all cool, I think everyone in the gym just started kind of watching what you were doing at that time. Man, you see that kid? I'm like, oh, Ryan, yeah, bro, he's working hard, which is cool, I think. Like, I don't know if anyone ever told you that, but I definitely know it came up a lot to me. We're like, hey, man, like, what's he doing? Like, this is his thing, dude. He's got a goal.
Right? Yeah, that was yeah, I had a good amount of people say that, and then even people afterwards that I met years later, they was like, do I know you from somewhere? I was like, yeah, I used to work at Crunch. Oh, you was the big kid. It was like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was me. It's funny too, because I remember when I went back home a few years ago, my grandmother even dissed me a little bit.
Really?
She was like, you fast now. Back when you was rolling out the car. It's like, yo.
Only grandmas can say stuff like that. We're like, all right, grandma.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like,
oh,
dang.
super funny. That's awesome. All right, so let's fast forward, or let's actually rewind. Sorry. Let's talk about martial arts specifically, because I definitely know, I would watch you, do bag work, and even now, that's still very prevalent for you, which, again, I respect, because you found a craft or a modality in fitness that you've gravitated towards and you've become the master. And it's a skill set too, right? Like, more so than maybe weight training might be to some people. You're mastering your body in a different way. What styles of martial arts are you familiar with? What have you trained in, and why is it important for you to continue to do that?
So my journey in martial arts started with, I'll say before I got in class would be with Power Rangers and Bruce Lee. So that's where that started. Yeah. But I started with Kung Fu, like I said, the American Martial Arts Institute in Delaware. And that was like around high school. That's where I started with that. I was always fascinated with like the Kung Fu movies, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li. Dude. And doing that, I did that for a couple years. I even ended up being a teacher for a little bit there in exchange for like classes. So cool. As like a way to like, I think I went into like a financial route. We had to was able to like, exchange time to work instead of, train there too, which is cool. But I think doing all that kind of made me feel out of it. I think it's funny because the way I wanted to train was like really intense and like really get down, and I couldn't
like the movies.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to go to like the Shaolin Temple and be like, carrying the water jugs up and stuff like that. Fighting army and ninjas at times. But for me, martial arts it's one of the things that I'm naturally good at in a way. Like it's not even, it's very, it's in my blood. Yeah. For me, when it comes to martial arts, like when I see other good martial artists, I'd be like, I want to spar. Right. Yeah. I want to spar. I like that mentality. I want to spar, but like just to see if what I do works. Yeah. And just being realistic and learning over the years, like sparring, like I enjoy sparring. That's fun. It like you said, make sure to see if it works and stuff too, or see how I flow better. Like I was sparring. I don't know if you used to see us at the gym. Spar with Antonio. Yeah. Spar with him.
Yeah, he was into like capoeira, right? Yeah.
So it's this stuff with him. I did that. I did some self-training with boxing. I did Taekwondo for a little bit too. I was actually doing Taekwondo classes in the one downtown Burbank for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go back there once get things settled. But that was a great school too. But yeah, right now I self-train. I follow a lot of other martial artists, buy programs, and from what I hear, martial arts is a way of life. So it's like anything with fitness and health related. It's for me definitely. It's like it's just a part of me. Like I just can't escape it.
I get it. I like it too. It's a way of life. It's like saying like it's like a roadmap for so many other things outside of just training. Yeah, right? It kind of like bleeds into other areas a lot of the time, and that's the best part about finding your thing that's just in you, right? Like I don't need to do this. I want to do this.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready. There's no like, oh God, I gotta go. No, you're excited every time. Yeah. And you're right. Like, I think you're naturally good at it. I mean, I watch you do stuff, but you're filming in the other room, and I'm just like, yo, how did you get that high?
I sometimes don't know myself.
Dude, some of the stuff is wild. I'm just like, bro. And because I grew up the same way. I love martial arts. I've done tons of different styles of training throughout the years. Karate, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, a bunch of different stuff. For me, more so for a visual challenge than anything because of the disability. Hand-to-hand things are very challenging, which I love. Yeah. That just makes it more exciting for me. I like that I'm at an extreme disadvantage from the very beginning. That's where I thrive the most. So I loved growing up watching Jet Li, Bruce Lee, my dad and I, Rambo, dude.
Rambo, yeah.
All the greats.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, everybody. Power Rangers, like you said. Yep. And it just mimicking them, doing those moves. And I even got into wrestling for a while, just like crazy into WWF. And I respect you for having that like passion for something, because I don't know that everyone finds it in fitness or in health, like finds their thing. But when you do, I think you cherish it more, right? Because you know it doesn't happen to everybody. Yeah. And you are very passionate about it. You can see it in your posts and in the things that you do. When you're practicing, even with like the knife, like guns, like all of that stuff. Like, it's cool, man. I love it. It's also different. Yeah. Like, a lot of us are doing bodybuilding in here, or there's CrossFitters and powerlifters, but martial arts is like its own cool ecosystem. Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I will say with this is, like, if you're with the martial arts, it comes with like a certain responsibility too. I think, in a way, like, because it is the art of combat, and I know it may be cool, but once you have that, well, I heard from someone that I'm like follow and stuff like that he said that because he's a martial artist and like good at it, he's kind of looked at as a leader in certain aspects in certain rooms. I was like, oh, I would have never thought of that. Like, it's like, well, that makes sense in a certain way, because with disability, you gotta, like, if something were to happen, you should step up because you have that ability. It's kind of like you've been given this gift. You got to use it for the good of mankind. In my opinion, I agree 100%. And, being around the MMA world with past companies that I've worked with, and knowing so many people that do mixed martial arts, and professional and amateur, that you're the guy in the room where if something were to happen, you're not worried. Like, you can handle that problem. And a lot of people in that room don't know that about themselves. You have that like inner, I'm going to just randomly know how to box 5 guys at one time if anything pops off. But it's like, you've done no training. There's no reason you should think that's going to happen other than just delusion. But when you train, like, you're just, I think you have a cool, I would assume, because I haven't trained it as much as you have or some of the fighters have, but even training what I have, I'm pretty calm most of the time. Exactly. Yeah. Because I know enough where unless you know more than me, I'm okay. Like, and with someone like you who's been mastering it for years, it's probably even more like, oh, I'm good. Also, I have to make sure that if something happens, I don't hurt somebody. That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like I don't want to hurt anybody. Like, I know I can. It's like, I know I could kill somebody with this. Right. Like, at the level, at the understanding that I have for me, and I have to be careful. So, like, sometimes that's why I don't drink or do anything like super crazy, because if I lose that inhibition, my inner warrior is gonna be like, really, I want to challenge you. Totally. It's like, that inner warrior wants to go. Yeah, exactly. So it's like days where it's like I have to consistently control myself, and not like to a certain extent where I'm gonna be angry, but it's I don't even want to. You don't put yourself in that situation. Well, let's just avoid it. Exactly. I mean, I respect that actually a lot. I had someone in jiu-jitsu, a black belt that I was friends with, say the same thing. We would go out and drink, and at the time I was drinking a lot. We were young. It's like mid-20s, and he was young, but he was a multiple time black belt, Abu Dhabi champion, amazing person in the jiu-jitsu community, and he wouldn't drink as much. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, drink this thing. Like, come on, bro, we're drinking adioses and shots. And he's like, bro, like, I don't even want to be in a situation where someone says something and I have to react and I can't stop. Because I know how to break limbs, choke people unconscious, and I know how to not let go. Like, my grip is, you're not gonna get me off someone. It's just not gonna happen. Exactly. And it was like, whoa, bro, like, what in the world? That's the way we think. Wow, okay, it was a lot to take in at the time, but knowing more people now and being older and knowing so many martial artists and fighters, it's real. Because I have also seen the other side. I mean, I've seen fighters that, they party hard. They're in that world in cage fighting, and they're reckless people. They naturally, they like risk and reward, high risk, high reward. And we would go out and drink, and bro, man, it was just like the wrong person to mess with every time. And someone would on State Street in Santa Barbara or in Hollywood, and they would get dealt with so brutally. And the security guards would just be like, because they knew him. Like, that's a cage fighter. We're not the same thing. You got a job working security. That's his job. And it was kind of scary to see it sometimes and realize, like, oh, well, like, the three of us are going to have a hard time calming him down. Yeah. And he knows that. And we all know that. So I respect you as a person just to keep that in mind. Like, because we live in LA. Everyone wants to start problems out here. People take themselves everywhere. Yeah. It's a tough place to be. So, all right, well, let's talk a little bit about purpose. I've been asking everyone on the show. I always like to give a background because then people can kind of see where you've come from and what you've been doing. Purpose is a big thing for me, or mission, either way. What your purpose is in life, if you've found it. Some people haven't yet. They're working on it. You're walking the path to find it. And some people have. And so I'm curious, like, is purpose something that you think about?
Yeah, all the time. I think at the very base level is helping people. Just in any way, shape, or form. I know that sounds very basic, but like, I think
the more basic, the better, I think.
Yeah, it'll be that, and that's regardless of the outcome. It's just showing that kindness to people, because I know the world kind of needs that, and just and then secondly, for me, it'd be filmmaking and acting. Would be like making movies, and I enjoyed that whole creative process. I'm a very creative person. Yeah. So and then using my skills to help people when I can, or whatever season that may be. Times change, and just adapt with the times. It's constantly growing. For purpose for me.
Oh, for sure. As it should. I think as you get older, you're crafting it. You're realizing what it is really. And if you're not, I think you're missing out. Yeah. And I think that's also like a martial arts mindset too. Yeah. It's continuous evolution. It's a timeless pursuit. Yeah. So for me, with you, what's cool is, we were friends at Crunch, obviously. We knew each other. We stayed in touch, social. We'd run into each other. And when I did this, you reached out, you came through, and you have not left since you came through. Which, look, again, I respect, as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, when you're at the beginning and there's nothing to show yet but a vision, and a strategy, maybe a hint of a brand, a hint of an idea, to have someone come in and look at what you're doing and say, hey, you know what, man, like, I'm good to help you make this work. Yeah. With no, like, but you need to pay me this much money, but I can only do that. I mean, you're here every day, man. I can't stress to people listening enough, like,
I basically live here.
You basically live here. Yeah. I mean, most people think I pay you a salary, which
I know, it's crazy.
I really cannot wait to do, because you are here enough to get one. I mean, so many people here are like, oh, are you just paying him a salary? I'm like, bro, that is the goal. For sure. Yeah. But I think it says a lot about you that you know what we're doing. You know me, you know Zoe, and you know what we're trying to create, and you're here to just help us do it. Yeah. There's no hidden motive other than, hey, I think this is going to be something that can work, and I want to be a part of it. Yeah. And it sounds so simple, but it's not, bro. Yeah. Like, there's not many people like that. I'm like that. That's a me thing for sure. And I think, again, that's why you and I gravitate towards each other, because I've worked with a bunch of companies and a lot of different friends, and for free, completely for free, for years. I got paid nothing. Yeah. With the intent at some point to get paid just to like survive. But also more so for me, with the intent to just help my friend.
Hey, that's really the base for me.
Yeah. Like,
that's really what it comes down to.
That's where it starts. There's no, like, if he gets rich, I get rich. It's like, I just want to help him realize this goal. And I have a skill set that can do it, or I have the ability, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And because in my past, personally, I have been taken advantage of and not helped out, I very much keep it clear. We talk as much as we can. I keep you so you know where we're at at all times.
I trust it. That's why I get it.
I respect your time, your skill set so much. And again, I respect you in general for being able to do that, because there's not many people like us that can do that. Yeah. Especially in LA too. I don't mean that in a negative way towards people that can't, because I also get it. Bills are high here. It's expensive here. Oh yeah. Like, it's a struggle. So, and I think that says a lot just about you, you know, and that's why we've been so lucky and fucking grateful to have you here.
I'm grateful to be here, man.
Team, and I'm hoping. I mean, you're seeing it evolve more than anybody. You're here with us every day. So
so much. And like, it's funny. I was just looking at an old photo. I think the first photo we took of you standing against the wall after it done with your hands. Yep. I was like, dang, that was like in September. And
and we didn't even have the other side at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't even have the whole floor.
Just watching the old videos is crazy.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately too, just to kind of keep perspective. Because I think when you're in it every day, something else that can happen is if you're not doing that, it's like, man. We're not moving fast enough.
No, we are.
We're here every day. We're like 6 to 6 or 9 to 5, you know. But we are. We're leaps and bounds from where we were 4 months ago. It's insane. The last month is, you know, the most we've brought in as a company, which is, you know, attributed to, you know, Zoe being involved now. Yeah. It's attributed to you being here now, content creating with us. It's attributed, you know, to Tess helping me with content too. It's become very much a team effort. And I think it's so important to have good people around you, and the people that just get what you're doing too. Because you can also be a good person and just not be a good fit for the thing. Yeah. And that's totally fine. That's happened before. You know, I've had people in businesses with me that are no longer, that I have nothing bad to say about it. There's no personal issues. For what I wanted, it wasn't the right fit. And sometimes, even in the past, I wasn't the right fit for certain opportunities. You know, that happens. Agreed. But to have the right people, you feel it. Yeah. Like, every day we come in here, and there's a million things I can be stressed about, like, very easily in this situation, because it's the biggest risk I've ever taken. But I don't know that I've been stressed once the last 6 months. Because I know
it's gonna work
that
out.
When I come in, Zoe's going to be here. I know I can rely on him. I know that in a few hours after that, you're going to be here. Yeah. I know that on 3 days a week, I meet Tess. I know that I meet Mitch. I know that I have people here. And if it wasn't for you guys, it would be way more stressful and awful for me. And so, you know, all that to just say, like, I have such respect for you for believing in me. Yeah. And this company and what we're building, and it's just the beginning. And that's, I think, even more exciting for me, because I've been working on this in my head for 12 years. And now we get to be like, all right, bro, like, today let's create this. Okay, next week, Tuesday, it's this. Like, and the things that are coming the rest of the year are so cool. And I'm so excited that, you know, you're here to help do that. And to also put in your own input too, right? Like, that's the other thing. Collaborative efforts are the best. Yeah. Like, hey, I know this thing. We're going to do it like this. Okay, cool. Let's run it like that and see how we like it. Let's, you know, let's collab. Yeah, man, it's been a wild couple months. It's only going to get crazier.
Oh, yeah.
Next couple months.
Oh, yeah.
But all in the best ways.
Yeah.
In the best possible ways. So, you know, thank you.
Of course, man.
For being here, bro. I really appreciate it. I try to say that as much as I can, because I really mean it. You're very valued to me, part of this team. And I'm glad you got to share your story today.
Thank you.
Come on from behind the camera.
It's nice being.
Follow him on social media. What's your handle?
Ryan Abney 1997. Yeah, that's my handle at that time.
Social media one?
So yeah, I think this is.
You want the other one? A6?
Oh. Man,
throw it out there.
I know. A6 Creative Media. If you need somebody to do content creation for you, put that to the side so much. I don't know. It's just there.
It's seasons, bro. Everything in seasons. Look, you press pause on one thing to play another, and then you come back.
Exactly. So if you need any content creation help, please reach out. Or Josh can connect you to me.
Highly recommend Ryan. Reach out to me directly, no problem, and I'll link you up. Follow us at Conquer All Things on every social possible, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much, and thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro.